Your reaction to that Alistair Clarkson situation?
It's got nothing to do with me. So, no, I've got no reaction.
Think you'll be back coaching before too long?
It's none of my business. So I'll let Hawthorn deal with all that and concentrate on what I've got to do.
Are you able to speak to the coach that he's been, like a four-time premiership coach, a person you worked under?
Yeah, I worked there for 4 years as an assistant, learned a lot from Alistair, and that hasn't changed from today to yesterday. So yeah, nothing's changed from my eyes in terms of Clarko. So yeah, like I said, what happened today has got nothing to do with me, but the Clarko's a tremendous coach.
Collingwood tomorrow, what sort of challenge does it present in terms of, I guess you've regained a little bit of form the last couple of weeks, probably not exactly where you want, but what does tomorrow present for you?
Yeah, it's another opportunity. I mean, we're in the 8, so we need to consolidate as best we can. That means trying to win tomorrow. We fly out today, which is a bit different for us, so going one day out, it's a new exciting challenge for us, which we're looking forward to. We did it against Adelaide, so that's new and exciting, and Collingwood are a different side. You know, they're different than when Bucks was coach. So they've got a different style of play and very aggressive, very bold, pretty attacking. So yeah, it's going to be a good challenge for us.
Does it present as a danger game? They've only won one of the 5 under Robert Harvey, but as you mentioned, they've changed things up a little bit. Where do you see them, I guess, possess a little bit of strength?
Well, they take the game on, yeah, and they've been pretty good in the contest. They haven't been blown away at all for the whole year. I don't think they've been beaten by more than 30 points. So compare that to a couple of our losses. It looks a bit different. So I think their pressure's increased. Their defence has probably tightened up a little bit, the way they defend, and they're a lot more attacking. So they're a genuine threat, that's for sure.
The attacking mindset last week of St Kilda, Max King got you the defence off guard. What do you expect from the Darcy Cameron, Brodie Myercheck sort of, I know Mason Cox is out, but what have you done this week to sort of address that happening again this week?
Yeah, we learn every week. So players learn, your team defence learns, structure, all those things. So he had a really good game. He was isolated probably a little bit too much. And like I said about St Kilda, same thing with Collingwood. They moved the ball nice and quick in that last quarter in particular. They had a lot to play for as well, the Saints. So they were nice and brave as well, and our ability to stop the ball in our front half dried up. So, yeah, there's lots of learnings from last week, but it's a continual growth for us, really.
So what pleased you most about last week's game? You had a great second quarter, but you were also able to respond when they challenged you late.
Yeah, I suppose we have played for a long period of time in patches where for 10 minutes we're really, really hard to stop, and we get on top in a lot of areas and get real bang for buck. That's always been something that we're quite good at. But sustained work rate, effort, 4-quarter performance, that's what's been missing this year. So the basics and the fundamentals. So I think last week we had a closer, and the week before we're getting closer to a consistent style of play that you don't get that 10 minutes of burst play. You get more of a grind out of it all, and that's what good teams do. So take most of their opportunities, but are always in the game, and not the momentum swings aren't as large. So I think as much as the Saints in the last quarter had a good go, we managed to hold on.
Mark Hutchings, one game in and then out. What did you sort of make of his first game back?
Yeah, look, he's stiff, but we have Jack Redden come back into the side. We want to keep Connor West going, give him an opportunity. So Hutch is going to travel with us, and he'll be in the conversation to be a sub. So yeah, look, he didn't do a lot wrong, but he had an opportunity, and he's been working towards his best form for a while now. He's missed a lot of football. So, yeah, if I had to put a line through it, it'd be unlucky.
What do you have in mind for Oscar Allen?
Well, I'm not going to tell you that. He's been sore for a few weeks. His form's down a little bit. So, and he's been playing a very similar role for really since he came into the side. He's been a pretty good versatile player for us. So that's just been difficult for him in the last few weeks, whether he's been a forward ruck or a forward that pinches down back or just a permanent forward. We've sort of tried all things. So he's working through some form. We'll do everything we can to help him, and that happens to young players.
Do you feel you might need to settle him in one spot, or does the team requirements just require he's going to have to continue?
Yeah, it's a good conversation, that one. We've had, I think the last time we played him as a permanent forward might have been Adelaide, maybe Sydney in Geelong as well. We played 3 talls, played 2 rucks. So that's the challenge for us. You know, do you get him to second ruck and play a bit smaller, or you play taller? And it's sort of it's either you're really tall or you might be a bit undersized. So working through that. But in the past, he's been very, very good at adapting to each role and, you know, still holding a high level performance. So, but I'm not surprised there's a dip here and there. So we'll do our best to try and look after him.
How banged up is Oscar, especially with that
Strapping
role?
everywhere, isn't he?
Yeah.
Look, the 2 6-day breaks were a challenge. So, you know, there was conversations about does he need a rest, but he got through it. His body's feeling as good as it has been. So, these are the type of things you got to work through as a young player coming through. But there's a limit as well. So we've got an eye on him. We don't want him to do everything for everyone. He's that type of player. But yeah, he's learning.
Obviously, you've got this decision to make with Oscar's role. Will we see Jeremy McGovern doing more ruck work again this week?
He looked great for 5 minutes. To his defence, I reckon he had 6 or 7 ruck contests, and any ruckman will tell you do that in a row. Doesn't matter how fit you are, you do have a little period of fatigue. So I think naturally he works the ruck craft pretty well, and we're probably yet to see him around the grounds what he looks like in general play. So it's good to have it as an option, and talking about Aussie and trying to find other avenues for that second ruck role, and you know, Gov could be part of that solution as well. So we're exploring some things this year, so we'll see how we go.
You only ever have one player who's the first to get to 300. What do you make of Shannon?
Yeah, he's a legacy player for us. He'll be remembered forever at this club. So premiership captain. I remember when we first voted him in, and the players voted him in. It was a bit of a left field decision, and one that probably when I got to the club you didn't really understand, and then you're there for 10 minutes and you know why. So when I think Glassy might have walked out on us around 3 or 4 in 2014, maybe 15. So we shared the captaincy for the rest of that year, and then the players voted, and it was unanimous that Shannon was our leader, and he just hasn't let us down since then, and even now he does it in his own way, and he hasn't changed a bit, and I think his form has been as good as it's been for 10 years. So very consistent person and very consistent player.
Would you expect him to be there next year? Play on
Yeah, well, I heard him declare it the other day, so I haven't got much of a choice. No, it's always part of the discussion what the player feels, and players like Shannon and Josh, a lot of it is how they're feeling, and then we need to know where we're at as a club as well. So we haven't actually had the conversation, but it's all pointing in the right direction.
There's no real form reason why either of them should go, is there?
No, well, they're both different in different situations, but yeah, they haven't let us down too often on field. No.
Does Shannon? What is it about Shannon? We see him in the media, and he loves it. He just craves the media attention.
Yeah.
But what is it about Shannon behind closed doors, an insight to something that we don't see in the media play out?
There's probably not a lot you don't see, because he's just consistent. Yeah, and he's very passionate about football, his mates, and his family. Like it's the things you like and you value in people. That and it's been sustained. It's not false. There's no campaigning about trying to be this or that. He just does his thing, and that's why he's so respected. And look, I think it took the public a little while to work it out, but it's pretty obvious when you work with him.
If you could take one facet of his play that stands out, obviously a great kick, but what would it be during?
I think he does the right thing at the right time, which is hard to teach. So it takes a while to learn that. But the game situation and the way he plays, he just does the right thing at the right time. That's pretty bland, but that's what you crave as a coach.
Would Oscar need some surgery come post-season?
Don't know. I don't think so. No, I think he's okay. So those discussions actually start pretty soon. You start to review your list and see what happens at the back end of the year, and every club goes through that. But his name hasn't popped up.
Sam Mitchell, obviously, worked under you, or played and then worked under you, what's he going to be like as a senior coach now? What's he going to bring to the mould up at Hawthorn?
I'm not sure. He was here for 2 years and still learning his craft with us. So obviously he had a lot of potential with us, and he's a little bit more advanced than your standard first year coach. But he'll do it his own way, which Alistair has and I have, and everyone who's been around a little while. You've got to do it your own way and be yourself. So I think that's how we start and see how he goes.
There's a bit of talk about possibly moving the game and all the crowd drum. Much of that come across your desk and interrupt your planning? Not
lately. We're pretty flexible with how we approach it, but we're on a charter flight in about 2 hours, so hopefully the game's on schedule. You haven't heard anything, have you? I don't think there's crowds. MCG's great to play at regardless, so we look forward to that. And we're flexible. We're not quite sure what happens next week and quarantining, all those things that we've got to do. But, we're pretty clear about tomorrow.
How different will it be when you get to the other end? So what would you normally do on an interstate trip that you won't be doing this time?
We'd have our captain's run now in Melbourne somewhere. So we'd try and sneak onto an oval and, so we'd be there last night and captain's run today. But it hasn't been that successful this year, so this is a good mix-up.